Hello my crafty friends, and welcome to week 2 of the 12-week Get Organized Challenge here at Creative Scrapbooker Magazine. I'm so glad you decided to join us on this organizing adventure. Okay, one thing I want to remind you, your craft room didn't get loaded up with stuff and clutter and messy in 12 weeks. And it's probably going to take you longer than 12 weeks to do it. So to clean it back up. So our goal in the 12-week challenge is to do a little bit every week for 12 weeks. And then the areas that you really need to focus on or that you have tons more supplies in, you can go back, either rewatch the videos or just use your notebook and go back and revisit those sections of your room. So don't feel like, oh my gosh, I'm never going to get all this done. I have so much paper. Tiffany has no idea how much paper I have. You can redo each section, and that is one of the reasons we have broken it down into such small segments. You can redo whatever you need to work on. This week we're jumping right in with paper, and the reason we're jumping in with paper, because paper is the thing you use all the time. So by getting it organized, you'll be motivated and inspired with how easy it is to use your paper to organize everything else in your craft supply collection, right? That's my crazy thought. What do you need? You need something to organize your paper in, and I'm going to say go vertical. Get yourself some vertical paper storage boxes. You can use mine. You can buy them at Hobby Lobby or Joann. You can buy mine in particular at Hobby Lobby, but you can buy any brand at Hobby Lobby, Joann's, Michael's. The brand doesn't matter. But you want to go vertical. You want to go vertical for a couple of reasons. It's easy to file and drop things in vertically. It's difficult to do it horizontally. If it's vertical, it's a file. If it's horizontal, it's a pile. But also they take up less space and they're easy to move around. You're going to see that in my quick demonstration about how to actually do the physical part of sorting your paper. Okay, so you need some vertical paper storage. You need your themes and sentiments example list that you made last week as part of your assignment for week number 1, plan to get organized. You need some sort of label or dividers. So I am using the dividers that go with the paper storage boxes, but you can make your own dividers if you need to using 12 by 12 paper and sticky notes. So as long as you've got something to divide up your sorting, that's all you need. Now, I use sticky notes. Drop those in there for now. I use plastic sticky notes for everything. Why? Because when a plastic sticky note bends over like this, and so if you can see that on the camera, it pops back up. But a paper sticky note, once it gets folded over, gets crushed down and it won't pop back up. So I'm a big fan of the plastic sticky note. We make them. They're called Shut Your Flap Tabs, but you can buy any brand. You can use any brand. Again, you don't have to use the TT brand. Okay, so I've got my dividers. I've got my list. I've labeled my dividers. Now, when you label your dividers, you've got the 4-section system. Alphabets and numbers don't really count. You're not probably going to have paper that is alphabets and numbers unless it fits into some other theme like school or something like that. So you've got themes and sentiments A to Z. You've got holidays and seasons that you want to label for, and you've got the rainbow. So I've only got here my themes and sentiments and a couple of the holiday and season tabs just for the example today. I do have a stack here of paper that's sorted by color. I'm going to talk about sorting your paper by color and adding that in. What I want you to think about though is, did I already say this? Only tabs that match your themes and sentiments list, right? So that's the reason that you need this, so that you're not making a tab that says the letter O or the letter Q, but you don't have any themes that match O or Q. So A, I've got animals, amusement park, ancestry. B, I've got baby, beach, birthday. Now I know I have a ton of baby, beach, birthday, right? So I made another sticky note, put it on the B tab so that when I come across those categories, I can use that to divide those categories behind the B tab. This would be the same thing you would want to do if you had S for sports, and then you were going to have football, basketball, baseball, that type of thing behind your S tab. And there's some pictures in the handout. Now, I'm going to go back. I'm sorry, I should have started with this. There is a handout, a printable blog post. So you can see a lot of the pictures on the blog post, but it's also printable. So look for the link if you want to print this out and put it in your your notebook, your 12-week organization challenge notebook. You can print out the whole blog post. There's also a separate printout just for the checklist. So if you are somebody who doesn't like a lot of paper, you're going to keep your notebook digitally, you can download the blog post and add it to your notebook. And then if you want to print the checklist alone, there's that as well. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to drop those into my box. And I'm going to drop those into my box, and now I'm going to start sorting paper. And it's as easy as literally going through your piles of paper and going, oh, okay, this is fall. That goes in, that's Halloween, it goes in fall. This is spring, it's going to go in spring. This is summer. And as I work through and now you can see the value of the vertical, right? Because I am literally working through this, putting things as they belong in those sections. Now mine looks really easy because I just pulled paper out of existing sections so I could drop it back in. Oh, there's a travel. So I'm going to go to T where my travel paper is. Here's another thing you want to keep in mind. If you've got paper with the tab along the top, you want to be sure that tab along the top is always going the same direction. I'm going to recommend that you put it in sideways. I already messed this up with this one over here. That you put it in to the side, because then everything stays the same level at the top, right? So all of your paper is 12 inches, or all your 12 by 12 paper is 12 inches one way, but some of it is 12 and a half, 12 and 3/4, 12 and a quarter the other way, and that keeps everything level at the top so you can see all your tabs and dividers. Now, this is a whole collection called Old World Travel, and I just put it into a paper pocket all together. So there are several, again, they're listed in the handout that we make. There's a paper pocket. Well, this is actually a P40, a supersized single. There's a paper pocket. There's a side loader single. I think there's one other thing I'm going to come across there. So collections of paper, as you come across them, you want to keep things together, you use together. I put this entire Old World Travel collection together. Now I can put it into my travel section, and as I'm going through travel later, I'm going to have all those papers that match together inside that pocket, but they're all still in the travel section, right? So now I'm on to birthday. So this is where I'm going to take my birthday tab, and I am going to add it to this first sheet of birthday paper. And then as I find more birthday paper, I've already kind of done a pre-sort, and I can organize it and put it back. I've got a beach collection here. Again, this is in an 12 by 12 tab divider pocket. So the whole collection is in there. It's already labeled beach day, but it's going to be also the start of my beach section. So I'm going to add that tab. I'm going to put it behind baby. And now I'm on to the next thing. Oh, here's another piece of beach paper, right? So I'm going to add that to the beach collection. And that's as simple as it is for working through your paper. Take a stack of paper, work through it. Go from start to finish on a stack. Don't try to do all the paper in your craft room at one fell swoop. 2, 3, 4 inches, organize it, take another 2, 3, 4 inches, organize it. When your box starts to get full, then you're going to take that second box, line them up together, and then divide the paper in half. So now you still have plenty of room to file. It's easy to file. You're keeping everything in order. As this gets full, I'm going to add that third box, and then I'm going to divide things up again so they're evenly spread through the 3 boxes. So by the time I'm done organizing my paper, all of the boxes will be filled, but everything will be in order all the way through the sorting process, and I can put it all right on my shelf in my organized only space, which you created last week as part of your assignment. So color, I was going to add this in to kind of give that. Now I've got my whole color section in there. What I do with my color tabs is I permanently label them, right? The other ones I use sticky notes with, but my colors are never going to change. They're always going to be the same, so I am comfortable to permanently label those. Once I'm done sorting, I may change any or all of these tabs with the sticky notes on them to really be defined by exactly how much paper I have, how thick each section is, how many dividers I need within a section, and all that type of thing. So I use my sticky notes here. I use permanent labels on things that aren't going to change, like color. let's talk a little bit about color. You have Roy G. Biv, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, the rainbow. But you're also going to need black and white and gray. Those kind of all go together for me. And then what I call browns and neutrals, so brown and tan are the next group. Those things aren't included in Roy G. Biv, but you definitely have those colors, so you want to keep that, you want to make tabs for them in your section. And then you might have metallics after that, gold, silver, copper, bronze, that type of thing. So if you do have metallics and you use metallics, you're also going to want to have a metallics tab for those metallic papers as well. So organizing your colors in rainbow order, light to dark, and then behind the rainbow is where I put printed and patterned paper. Now, people kind of freak out about the printed and patterned paper because sometimes it has other colors in it, right? You might just have, distressed, red paper that's distressed or orange paper that's distressed. That's a whole group. So at the back of red, I'm going to have a distressed section, but I might also have dots and stripes and plaids and things that have multiple colors in them. The most important thing you can learn from this whole Get Organized challenge: you don't need a perfect system, you need a good system. Perfect is the enemy of good. There is no one-size-fits-all perfect solution for any of this, but what you have here, using the 4-section system, organizing your paper by the rainbow, is a good system that will give you easy access to all of your paper. So, how do you choose? If you have multiple colors in paper, let's say you have striped paper, multiple colors in it, how do you choose what color that's going to be filed in? If it's mostly blue stripes, blue, mostly green, green. Whatever color jumps out at you or the color you like the best, you can just put it in that section. Most of us have enough paper that we could craft a little bit every day for the rest of our lives and never run out of paper, which means that if you misfile a sheet of paper, 10 sheets of paper, 100 sheets of paper, when you go to that section to find your green paper, you're probably going to be able to find it with no problem because you probably have lots of great choices that are going to work with that. So try not to overthink it. Move through the process really quickly. The color that jumps out at you, that's most prevalent, that you like the most, file it in that section. I promise you'll be able to find it when you need it. Now, the other question is double-sided paper. A lot of double-sided paper is in a collection, so remember our collections are all going together so that we keep things together, we use together. But if you have random paper that are double-sided, same thing. Choose the color you like the most or the color that you're most likely to use and file that in that section. You're also going to have scraps, lots of ways to store your scraps. We make, of course, the Scrap Master, so this one is all yellow scraps. So what I would do is I would take my yellow Scrap Master and I would drop it right in with the yellow section in my paper storage box, and now I have my scraps and my yellow paper all together. Same thing for Christmas scraps, for Halloween scraps, for soccer scraps, any of that stuff. You want to keep things together that go together. Keep your scraps with the theme, sentiment, holiday that they match, or color that they match. If you're not using something like a Scrap Master or a paper pocket, you can always store all your scraps for that particular color right in a file folder. So you can see this is a regular 8.5 by 11 file folder. I've got a 12-inch piece of paper here sticking out the end. These are all red and pink scraps. I can go right to red and pink and I can drop this in. I can label the tab red and pink. I can put it right behind the red. I'll turn my box here in a second. And now I've got all of the red scraps, right? All I have to do is pull this back and pull out this folder and I've got the red scraps. Some of you are using your paper storage box this way, in which case you're going to be able to slide out that folder of red scraps that way. The important thing, the most important thing about scraps, other than keeping them filed together with the actual paper that you're going to use them with, is, well, there's two things. Choose a minimum scrap size, and I know some people don't like this. Some people don't like to throw things away. Purging is part of what you need to do. Choose a minimum scrap size. My minimum scrap size is 6 by 6. I'm not keeping anything that's not at least 6 by 6 when I'm done with a project, unless it's something special or unique. Then I'm going to keep it. But just I don't want to dig through and find that I think I have a perfect size scrap and find out that it's not actually big enough for what I'm going to work with. So 6 by 6 is my size. Your size might be 2 by 3 or 1 by 1. A lot of people who make a lot of cards use tiny scraps. So whatever your minimum scrap size is, choose that. And then no matter how you're storing your scraps, try to layer them so that you can see a little bit of all the colors or all the patterns that are in your scrap storage. So whether you're using a file folder or a Scrap Master gives you a little bit more flexibility because you have all the different pocket sizes, so it makes it easy to put smaller things in each of the pockets. But you want to layer them in so you can see them most. Make it as easy on yourself as possible to find the scrap that you actually want to work with, and then choose the minimum scrap size that works for you. Now, one of the things that's important when we talk about purging is as you purge things, you are able to find the things you love and use the things you love, right? Instead of spending all your time digging past things that you don't like or that you're not going to use or that are outdated or don't fit even what you're scrapping about at this point in your life, but you're spending all that time and energy looking for them. They're taking up space on your shelf. If you watch the purge videos, you've already heard all this, but it becomes important not to get stuck just on that one thing, the cost of those scraps or, those small scraps, but on what's the benefit to not having them. And if you can come up with that benefit in your mind, it's going to make it easier for you to get rid of stuff. And like I said, some people who are card makers, little tiny scraps are something that they find that they use all the time. So if you know yourself and you're paying attention, you use them all the time, you can keep whatever you want. I'm just going to encourage you to choose a minimum scrap size. Now, as you're sorting your paper and you're going to come across ugly paper, the things that are going to go into your purge box, the ugly paper that's going into your purge box, you want to just hang on to that all for a minute or two, because when we do the die organization class, and the punch organization class, which are a couple classes down the line, you might want to use that old ugly paper to make the examples that you're going to do for your die and punch class as well. So even if you just want to throw those into a big Ziploc bag or put them all into one side loader single or into just a box so that you have them and you can use them for that portion of the class, and then anything that's left over after dies and punches, you can donate it, give it the boot, however you want to say that. Okay, what do you do with other collections that you like to keep together, but you want to remember that you have them? This is a perfect example. This is a kitchen collection from Cartabella. If you, for example, love Cartabella and you want to keep all of your Cartabella papers together, you can take this section out. This is all home, kitchen. I think mine is called Home, Family, and Food. I can take this out. I can put it in the Home, Family, and Food theme. And then as I'm looking through for paper, I'm going to see it. It's going to pop up for me, and I'm going to say, oh yeah, I have that, and I know where to go because I put a little label on it, right? So this is true for any brand of paper that you want to keep those collections together, but you want to remind yourself when you're looking that you actually have that. So figure out a way to link those two things together so that you can remember that you have them and that you're going to use them. Now, storing your paper, obviously we're sorting it all vertically into these boxes or into your paper storage boxes. Doesn't mean it's all going to stay there, right? So if you're using a scrap rack, which is what I use, and I have just a few sheets of paper for St. Patrick's Day, I may have sorted it into my spring section here, but I'm like, I don't need a whole category in my vertical paper storage for St. Patrick's Day. I'm just going to put it right into my scrap rack with the other stickers and embellishments and things that I have for St. Patrick's Day. So if you just have a few sheets of paper, 10 or 20 sheets of paper for that theme or category, once you're done sorting, you may want to put them, if you're like me, into your scrap rack, or maybe you're using one of the other things we talked about was a big flat like pizza boxes and you're storing your themes that way. Maybe you want to put them into that box because you don't have enough. I'm a travel paper junkie. I have way too much travel paper to go anywhere other than a paper storage box. Lots of people are Disney junkies and they have tons of Disney paper. best suited in a paper storage box. So sort it all in your paper storage box, and this is why, like I said, it's important not to label your tabs, because some things are going to come out of the paper storage box and go, ideally in a perfect world, all of your beach paper, all of your beach embellishments and your stamps and your dies and everything else would all be together in that category called beach. That doesn't always work because some things like punches and wood-mounted stamps don't fit in anything other than their own thing. And you may also, as I said, be a paper junkie for that category. But if you can keep your paper and your embellishments and your stickers and everything together by category, if it's not a giant category, then that is ideally what you want to do. So once you get it sorted, then it's going to go into that category. Now we are going to talk about embellishment sorting next week, and I'll tie these two pieces together. So if you're leaving everything in your paper storage boxes for now, or until as we move through the process and you're ready to put things together, the most important thing is that everything is together. You know that you have beach here, you know that you also have beach in your scrap rack or in your embellishment box or whatever it is, so it's easy to tie those two things together. Whew, I think I'm talking really, really fast. Okay, so what do you need? You need dividers, you need your boxes, you need your themes and sentiments list, you need your goal. What is your goal this week? Work through organizing your paper, meet your goal, reward yourself with whatever reward you chose, and don't forget to also sign up for the prize this week. So every week you need to re-sign up for the prize. It's a new list every week. Sign up for the prize this week. We'll do a drawing at the end of the week and I'll announce next week. So this week, I don't have the winner yet because I'm recording this early, but we'll be posting it on Facebook and on the page. So you might be watching this without the winner being notified, but make sure that you are entering every week to win that amazing prize of organization products from Totally Tiffany, of course. Okay, I think that's it. So pop online. You're probably online already if you're watching my video, but read through the blog, find the challenge checklist, print it if you need to, download it into your digital notebook if that's what you're choosing to use. Get started, get busy, be productive, get your paper sorted, and I will check back in with you next week when we do challenge number 3, embellishment sorting. Thanks so much for tuning in. Have a great rest of your day.